The SIRIM Environmental Technology Research Centre, we are actually offering our services in terms of consultancy, laboratory testing, and also some training. But for our training, actually, we are providing the training through our subsidiaries company, SIRIM SDS, and also we can offer clients based on customized training where we ourselves will go one-to-one with the industries for the training. But basically under Environmental Technology Research Centre, ETRC, we are doing consultancy work in through my section, environmental management section. We are doing environmental performance assessment using the application or techniques of life cycle assessment and also carbon footprinting services. From my perspective, I would say as industry ecosystem, we know that they are developed based on what environment has to offer, especially on the abundance of natural resources. So I would say industry ecosystem uses a lot of natural resources before transforming these natural resources into marketable or value-added product and services. So with this basis, we for sure need a very stable and healthy environment, right, to support the economic growth or economic activities. And also now we see that the landscape of the regulatory nowadays at the global level or even at our national level, they are evolving, they evolve because there are high demands for the industries and also organization towards environmental sustainability. This demand is increased, in great length or in great effort more than ever. So basically, managing the environment becomes more complex because now the legislation or the customer expectation requires a holistic approach, meaning that once we only worry about our own operation, like gate-to-gate operation, but now with the environmental sustainability, we cannot just stop there. We have to go beyond, left and right, because we have to address the effect of the activities of the supply chains upstream that is contributing to our activities and also the downstream activities. So as a holistic approach, this must be managed towards environmental sustainability. This has been a debate over time, right? There's no single solution that can resolve everything. So I would say, for me as a researcher, I would say carbon footprint is a tool given to us to measure something, to assess, to gauge where we are. And then is something producing quantified data. Of course, it's very debatable because doing carbon footprint it's like without a standardized methodology, people will do by their own accord. That means you design your own footprinting analysis, what you want to include in your measurement, what you want to omit in your measurement. You can do that freely unless you are meeting a certain requirement by a certain carbon program operator. Then by every tiny detail you have to base on that particular criteria. But basically now we don't have really harmonized or standardized criteria or steps to go into this. The rules is very rare. It is being harmonized because like in SIRIM we produce product carbon footprinting rules, but only confined to the products that going through our certification scheme. And then if one company going for another certification scheme offered by another operators or program operator, or even by another country, they might be analyzing it different way. But no matter how it goes, carbon footprint is still a good quantified data as a basis for you to move further, to track, to monitor, and to reduce your emission. Yeah. Yeah, for life cycle assessment.
Oh, okay.
We talk about it just now, right? Carbon footprinting is a subset of LCA principle because carbon footprinting is only measuring a single impact category. That's why we say carbon footprint. Yet, if we are doing full LCA, full life cycle assessment, we say we measure ecological footprint because there are more to carbon footprint. Carbon footprint is associated with global warming potential, but there are other impact categories like acidification potential. Acidification potential is the impact to the environment, right? Ozone depletion potential. There's also ways to measure this. Carbon footprint measuring in terms of carbon equivalent emission, which are GHGs. But like for eutrophication potential, we are measuring phosphate equivalent emissions. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why I would say understand LCA because LCA is promoting life cycle thinking. That's where I say we have to think of everything, whatever we do, from the upstream and downstream of our activities. That is the, yes, that is life cycle thinking. Okay, current project for us that we are very much into, ESG. Try to support the national way forwards towards ESG commitment. I would have to go with our CAPC project. CAPC actually stands for Collaborative Action on Preventive of Single-Use Plastic in Southeast Asia. I will be talking in terms of SIRIM task, not of MGTC. Basically, out of SIRIM project, for this one particular project, why I say is very much linked to ESG initiative of the country, because we are trying to see how the plastic usage in Malaysia, how we can change the market so that recycled material, in this case plastic, can be, the market can be enhanced. Yeah, that is one component or one commitment from SIRIM as the agency to undertake this project. Another part that is I myself involved is actually on the improving design of products. Yeah, so it's actually to support the eco-design initiative. So out of this project, we are actually trying to come up with recommendation for the stakeholders, especially the policymakers. MGTC is one of the agency to undertake a certain task out of this big project. Under this CAPC project, we have 4 work packages. 2 that I mentioned on simulation of plastic recycling market is under SIRIM, and also recommending eco-design framework for the country is under SIRIM. MGTC, they have other. It's happening in Southeast Asia. The project, of course, depending on the country needs, like Thailand and Indonesia, they have their own work package. So in Malaysia, we have identified a certain work package of relevant to the country in moving forward. So it's not the same, but there will be sharing of information of all these activities under the CAPC program. It's a G2G collaborative arrangement. The German is the funding agency because like in any other developed countries, they have funds to support developing and non-developed countries towards environmental commitment. So Malaysia has the privilege on this because these initiatives now protecting the environment is no boundary, it's borderless, right? whatever happened here is actually affecting other countries. So this is the initiative, the key essence of initiative. So we have the privilege of having this funding from the Germany government to support the Southeast Asia.
At present, the carbon
what?
emission or value.
Oh no, that one we cannot say.
Okay.
Yeah, because it depends on even within the same industries, the carbon footprint is different because their operation is different, right? Even for the same product, also it will be different.
Okay. So you can, it's not a simple mathematical question.
Yes.
Like you add up
No.
power.
We have to go company specific information and quantify.
I see.
But if at one time we have a population of, for example, products being eco-label, being carbon label, of course, for the same product, you sort of can do like a, I would say, average carbon emission associated with that product. Then for consumer like us, if for product, because there is no such requirement yet, product-based carbon footprint is actually the customer or the client's requirement, driven by the clients. Because for a certain product to go overseas for export, the clients asking for that carbon value of the product. Yeah, for the organizational level carbon accounting is because of the requirement, legislation requirement, say in the policy that companies need to declare. So that is the driver for these companies to start measuring their carbon emission. That is Bursa requirement, but the trend now, even those that are not public listed, if they are engaging into becoming a environmental steward, they will do that. Yes, they are actually now concern of the industries because of this announcement by Bursa with regards to the carbon market. Now companies that they see they are having carbon credit to offer, they are actually trying to engage us to look into the carbon emission related to project, so that to say that this project is actually not carbon emitters project, but they are actually can offer carbon credit for companies to offset their emission.
Okay,
So that is the trend now, and I know it's new also to us. So our team is now looking at this, but we have yet to really have a yes, all that. We have to go to that as well to support the, because we have these inquiries from the industries. And then as I mentioned, the way of carbon emission accounting is not a single way. For product, you have to use a different technique. For organization, you have a different techniques or rules to subscribe to when you do the accounting. For project also, there will be a different way of accounting. So it's not one single measurement you can handle everything. Oh, okay. Players that are coming because they know they have measured their carbon emission. So they might have been looking inside their companies on the ways to reduce, but maybe they have exhausted of the options, then they want to go outside to offset. Because perhaps they can no longer find initiative or ways to reduce, so they just want right off to offset through a certain project, because that project is deemed to reduce, giving credit instead of being emitters, then they want to offset like that. So that's where the interest is in now. There are big companies also, because this big company, they want to invest in carbon credit worthy project. Yeah, they can be of this company, they are emitters, but they know another way for me to reduce my carbon emission is actually I want to invest in a certain project.
Okay.
So they would want us to look at that. But as I said, this is one new area for ETRC to look into, to support in terms of the technicalities.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of measurement of the project.
Yeah.
But there are more support system there in terms of certification, verification, and then come up with the standards. That's another part of it also. For us, how to quantify a project, whether or not they are carbon credit worthy or not. That is our part, doing the assessment, doing the quantification. Who are committed to environmental sustainability. For you to do this is actually, for the industry or even us as organisation, we need first to measure. We measure our carbon emission associated with our operation or product or whatever. Once we have that value as a baseline, then we can move forward. Because then and there we can track, introduce action plan, and then whether or not we achieve this action plan towards reducing the carbon emission. So what I say is that measurement is like the first step that we have to do.